do we lose the upper hand? We only have value based on what we can provide.
Hello, everyone. I'm actually looking forward to this. From a man's perspective, from Dax. Well, you're going to get it from man's perspective today. We are happy man, happy home after all. My name's Craig Madden. Over there is Tom Cockrell. We are two dedicated therapist coaches for men's mental health and stress and frustration for husbands and dads. And we are aiming for men to have that happy home. And we are the voices for that. But I don't know. We don't really normally get any views with Dax, so you might be the only ones. Thanks for popping in. But we will stick to it because the actual song is something we want to hear from a man's perspective. And I think for a lot of you, it might be nice to see that from an internal point, I'm assuming. Let's have a look.
Yeah, 100%, Craig. Dax has always been like quite notorious for hitting it into his real life perspective, hitting on the deep core issues that sort of, you know, the modern men face. And, you know, that is the sort of issues that we like to challenge, we like to take down. So absolutely looking forward to this one. Before we get into it, though, we're going to support the original artist by putting hashtag Dax down in the comments below. If you are in a struggling state of mind yourself and you do need some help battling your stresses or frustrations, then feel free to check us out on our Facebook links. If you want to private DM us or leave it in the YouTube comments, that is completely down to you. But thank you very much for your time. Let's get on with the show.
Let's get on with the show, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm interested for this one.
I am, yeah, from a man's perspective. Very
on what
intrigued.
story? That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. It could be anything, couldn't it? It could be just randomly how a man feels in this day and age.
I don't know why you're making such a big deal about it. Stop acting like a bitch.
You don't call somebody out of the name like that if you don't respect them. Don't start approaching me. I already told you. Don't start approaching me. Then I'll leave then. Then I'll leave. Move. Then I'll leave then.
Powerful start.
Yeah.
I've already got comments ready to go. Woo.
I think we can stop it there. I think, yeah, we've got quite a lot already, haven't we, there, Tom?
I know, mate. I mean, just that opening scene there where obviously him and his missus are having a, you know, some sort of disagreement. And she, you know, as a man, you know, it's been quite famously known not to express our feelings or even show our emotions. And obviously Dax is showing his emotion there. And she immediately shot that down. His feelings were not validated. It called him an absolute bitch there and then, which is quite a degrading thing to call a man. It really puts him down. So that was like, oof. Already, I can already tell this is going to be quite a hard-hitting sort of song just from the intro. I'm just going to make the assumption that this whole song is going to be about between like a relationship. But hey, you men out there, just remember your feelings are just as validated as hers, and you should fucking feel like you can express them correctly. And that's, you know, a big thing to sort of cover with clients. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's beautiful to see from a man's perspective because, you know, we see from things, and there is men out there that, you know, will unfortunately do bad things. We know that women will do bad things. If we only just got to an understanding between men and women that men are bad, women are bad. From like, look at it, he's like double the size of her. I mean, as she walked over to him there, I mean, he could have just threw out the window. But what I loved is he had his hands up. He knew in his heart, he's like, I think what Jordan Peterson says quite famously quoted is that men have monsters within them, but we choose to control the monster to show love and compassion. And that's the big thing, because when you need the monster's there, but it's holding it back to show compassion. In this case, she went up to him quite aggressively, but he sort of just put his hands out and he walked off. You could call it stonewalling, whatever you want to call it. In that case, I generally believe he was going, look, if you come up to me and start hitting me, either I'm going to react accidentally or, you know, you're going to hurt me. So I'm just going to walk off. And he did what in his perspective at the time. So I'm, you know, it's only very early yet. Let's see more.
Nice tune as well.
Yeah, it's
calming.
I thought we were forever. That was a mistake. You wrote it down in pencil. Guess it got erased. Drawing on my weakness. Look what you create. A masterpiece of everything you taught yourself to hate. I had to log off. Your passwords changed. You always tried to run. I wasn't down to chase. Your trauma made you numb. I tried to give you faith. You took my kindness and threw it right back in my face. Ashamed to say I loved you and it hurts me because I actually tried. Your truth was based off of lies. Your love was conditional and mine forgave you multiple times.
It's a little bit funny,
that
bit.
I had to finally walk away. It hurt me to leave, but was killing me to stay. The story of my life, this chapter and pages getting ripped out and thrown in emotional flames. To be honest, I don't hate you. This is my only way to grieve. What you want isn't always what you need. I remember days I'd beg and I'd plead for you to just calm down and provide me with peace. Your words used to hurt me, they would bring me to my knees. Called me pathetic, trash, weak. So I got strong, got back on my feet, picked you up off the sidewalk, threw you back to the streets. I don't wanna talk about those times that you lied. Don't wanna talk about those times that I cried. Don't wanna talk about those times you denied all the truths that I spewed that I knew deep inside. The pressure I was feeling that was...
Oh, I'll tell you what, like lyrically, by the way, because I have to push the music in because obviously we're here to talk about men's mental health as well. But his lyrically, his sound, he's got a lot of good multiple rhyme schemes there. But what I love as well, he's actually bringing it's just... It's some things that he said, like I've logged off, but you've changed your password. As in, basically, I've walked away and I've come back potentially to have a little look, or even if I did try to log on per se, you've changed the way that things work. And I really, I mean, I haven't come from this, by the way, so I'm not going to actually speak in experience. My wife has never been malicious in the word she says. I mean, maybe she has, but not on purpose, because women sometimes don't understand men, just as men doesn't understand women. But I do love this sort of story that he's putting. I want to remind people back at home as well who watch this and think, the patriarch and sexism and stuff. It's not. He's talking from a man's perspective. The woman will have her own perspective. She might say, and I think there we go. And I laughed because it's funny, because it is a bit funny. She said, "How do I look?" And he went, "Yeah, you look good." And she was like, "Oh my God." Now, from a man's perspective, he has turned around and he has noticed her and said, "You look good." He has not turned around and said, "You look like a dick," or "You look horrible," or "Oh my God, you look, oh, how much did that dress cost?" Nothing like that. He just said, "You look good." So from a man's perspective, he has done what he thinks is the right thing at the time. Where from her perspective, now this is where we switch the table. She's like, "I've shown you my beauty," and you turn around and say you're good. What she's actually after is probably like, "Oh my God, you look absolutely stunning." A bit of a hug, a bit of emotion maybe. But see where the line is crossed here? And from a woman's perspective, she wants more, but the man doesn't know. So what should the woman do in this case? Good. Don't you think I look beautiful? Oh, sorry, darling. Yeah, you look unbelievable. See how that changes the conversation straight away, and then we're not sitting here on the bed crying or upset because she says hurtful things. So it's good to understand the woman's perspective, and that women want romance and they want strength, and they also want sensitivity, and they also want lack of sensitivity. They also want this strong man, this weak man, this sensitive man, all this shit, right? But a man sometimes just needs to be told. Simple as that, man. Yeah. Like my wife will sometimes, she'll say, "Does this look nice?" And I go, "You look beautiful, Dan." She goes, "No, I'm not asking if I look beautiful. I know I do, but what's the dress?" And my wife also likes that. I'm very honest as well. She goes, "What do you think of this dress?" I go, "Shit, that." And she'll go, "Thank you." And she'll go and get another one, come back and go, "What do you think of this one?" I go, "Beautiful." So it's just communication, which I know Tom's going to talk about communication.
Do you know what, mate? I think you covered pretty much exactly what was going on from my mind there. What I love what you mentioned was the perspective side of things. If you think you're doing everything right, from her perspective, it might not be enough. It might not be the correct energy. And I really like how he sort of threw that on there, because I thought it was going to be very all about sort of the man always being right and her being dedicated as the wrong one. But I like how they did put like a bit of it, because that is like an honest and truth relationship. Sometimes you can do something nice and it gets like lack of communication is such a big problem within marriages that rather than picking it up there and then, they sort of dwell on it and thinks, "Oh, I made all this massive effort and he didn't give me the much of recognition. He's probably not into me anymore." So I really like what you said there about the sort of perspectives, and that is definitely one to sort of take away from yourself. It's that emotional maturity within couples, and that from this man's perspective, mate, it is such a powerful song. I'm gonna let it play out some more. Like we've been talking for a while, but I think so far, mate, I'm just really enjoying this song, mate.
Yeah, enjoying the vibes as well.
Deep emotional connection to it, loving that sort of tune that's rocking with it, mate. Oh, beautiful, mate.
Times you denied all the truths that I spewed that I knew deep inside. The pressure I was feeling that was right up to my neck. The anxiety, depression that was weighing on my chest. The constant allegations, the blatant disrespect. The time that I lost to the money that I spent. I was going crazy, I was a shell of a man. Trapped in your cage, lost in your maze. Blinded by love, addicted to the pain. The highs and the lows, the storm and the rain. I started therapy to cope because you drove me insane. Gassed me right up, then emptied my tank. So don't you try to spin the block when you see I'm doing greater, that I'm happy or I got another woman in your place, because I gave you too many chances to understand that pain sounds different when it's coming from a man. We not allowed to feel, be real, explain, express, and when we do, we lose the upper hand. We only have value based on what we can provide. I spoke your love language, you didn't understand mine. You pushed me to the edge, played like you were blind, and then you blamed all of your actions on your zodiac sign.
That's a bit of a jokey bit then. So as an excuse, that's what he's saying there.
Oh,
That was powerful ending, man. Like, and I related with every single thing he said towards the end there.
yeah, because that is what the modern man faces. He does face, like, you know, we mentioned at the start, like at the start of the video, like about when you express your emotions, it's almost like that is a weakness for you, and you almost get belittled about it. And when you do have a lady that belittles you for expressing any sort of pains that you are holding in, you will sort of keep bottling it and keep bottling it. And you know what? It's gonna get you eventually. That frustration, that stress, it's gonna eat away you. It's gonna end up killing you. And that's why we do what we do, because we want that. We want to prevent that shit. We want to find men better ways to sort of have some coping mechanisms to create some solid boundaries within relationships so they can get along, to help improve communication, not just with, like, obviously the partners, but also with the children as well, because when you get kids into the mix, those frustrations, those stresses within family men, they just elevate so much more. Dax, you're, considering we don't get a load of views, and if you are watching up to this point, we certainly do thank you a lot. Like, I love watching his work. I love reacting to his work. I love his work, because I think he has, and again, we said at the start of the video, like, everything we've done with Dax, it has been so sort of raw emotion. He does put his heart and soul into it, which, again, we watch it and we go, yeah, look at him, he's putting his heart and soul in it. But then so many men are like, oh, I'm not showing my partner my heart and soul, because that's just weird. But he's giving it to us, the audience. It can be done. You look at him and you think, what a bloody man he is. And that's right, and that's exactly what he should be doing. So yeah, absolutely thought that was a fucking beautiful song, Craig. Beautiful.
Yeah, towards the end, I mean, he just kept getting me go, wow, because it's one of the things he said as well, which is quite relatable, mainly because I just watched a recent video which betrays this as well. How he talks about, like, you want me to be strong, and then when I'm not, he didn't say these exact words, but the way, you want me to be strong, and then when I'm not, you're like, you use the upper hand, or whatever he said. And I was watching a recent video, and this man's talking to a group of 20 to 30 men, maybe. I don't know what age group it is. And he talks about a personal story where, he loves his wife, by the way, and he's still with his wife. This isn't like an ex, so he's talking in belittle and her or whatever. And he says, like, I remember one day me and my wife was having, a day out, and in the morning, like, he did something. It was like, stood up for her or something. And she said, I can look after my fucking self. You just made me look like I couldn't stick up for myself. And he said, oh, I'm so sorry, and he apologized. Later that afternoon, something again happened, and he sort of just went quiet and looked at her, and she went, oh, fucking thanks, and walked off. And obviously they talked about it after, and they've sorted it out. That's fine. But when he discussed about that, all the men in the room was just laughing or nodding along, like, yep, absolutely get you. Because let's face it, that is from a man's perspective, is that sometimes I'm talking about modern age now, traditional men would have probably just been like, look, I'm going to step in if you like it or not. In this case, we are a bit more aware, and we're like, oh, well, she might not want me to step in on this point, and it might embarrass her. But the thing is that women have also got to have a perspective, and this is so important. Women need to have a man's perspective as well, not just men have a man's perspective. You need to have that. Wonder what he's thinking, wonder what he's doing. Like, for instance, have you ever seen the pickle jar thing as well? There's a video around, and then the woman opens a pickle jar, and then the men turn around and like shake their head, no, and then she puts it back on, gives it to the man, he opens it, smiles, and gives it back to her. That cost her nothing, but it's just little things like that, as much as that's a joke. Do you know what I mean? It's just little things that make that man feel a bit better. Now, let's face it, women, real good men out there, like myself and Tom, I'm going to call it out right now, men that I see on every single day are really good men that want to love a woman. It's men like Dax that need to speak up for us, and it's women like you that need to back us up out there as well. That there are good men that will stand in front of you in any rain or storm, like Dax said. There is men out there that will stand above you and let you lead when he needs you to take on the reins, because he's hard, dealing with hardship. But he also needs you to be there when he is just being manly and just himself. And what men are like. They'll treat you, they'll love you, they'll do anything for you, and they'll put their lives on the line. So it's about time that women do the same as well for men, and let's not walk away from that as well in future times.
Yeah, 100%. Such a good experience, and this is why we do music reaction still, because find out this sort of beautiful sort of poetry and artwork, it does sort of open up keys for conversation and emotion. And it's been an absolute bloody journey with you, lovely ladies and gentlemen. And if you did enjoy this reaction/review, then please feel free to leave that thumbs up button, hit the subscription, and ring that notification bell as well. And thank you as well for giving us so much of your time. If this is something that you sort of do resonate with, then Our Facebook links are down in the description bio, but I'm going to let Craig cover that bit because that's normally the bit he covers. I'm not going to be such
He's
a rude
already done
from
it.
his
You get the
perspective.
point. Yeah, you get the point, ladies and gentlemen. In all honesty, leave hashtag Dax down below to support the artist. But also, as I don't get my normal bit, I would like to say something from myself and Tom Cockrell. We would just like to say to the men and women out there, the husband and wives of the traditional families, the ones that build society, the reason inventions are made, the reason the world still spins. Thank you every day for what you do. Being a mother is so very important. Being a father is so very important. Being a husband, being a wife is very important. So thank you for just doing what you do every single day. You need to hear it. We are happy man.
And we're living in a happy home. That was bloody beautiful, by the way, Craig. We
Thank
love
you.